Retarded VTuber alert. We have a retarded VTuber. Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that the VTuber does something retarded?
Hey, what's up, guys? Over here. So normally I use this meme format as a joke about the person I'm talking about, like, oh, things are so bad for them. Well, guess what? I'm the joke today. That's right. Things are really bad for me because I have to look at the absurdity of the VTubing scene and the absolutely diabolical stuff we're going to cover today. Now, there's many things I've seen today that are not the main focus of this channel, but I'm just giving you a heat check on how the VTubing scene is doing today. So,
oh, the VTubing scene is on fire. Literally, it's on fire. There's so much retardation, it's hilarious.
Chibidoki said Happy Men's Day because apparently this is International Men's Day to celebrate men and to be kind towards them. And she said, I'm buying my dad flowers today. This series of tweets would get her backlash.
Of course.
Yes. She got backlash for saying Happy Men's Day and that she's going to buy her dad some flowers. Now, this is a bit of a morbid thing, but go buy your father, your friend, whoever, some flowers. Because often with men, the only time they get flowers is at their funeral.
That's a saying, and it's true. I think I have never gotten flowers in my life. And I'm 42? 3. I'm 43. I forgot how old I am. Man, must be the dementia. But yeah, she only got backlash for that because people are retarded. All this, oh, I hate men, men are evil. That's all by the people up there that want, you know, to divide society and destroy it so they can control it. Those people are just tools, and they don't even know it because they are too dumb to understand it.
I know, morbid, sad, but just keep that in mind. And then I saw this with Twitch. It's VTuber week. Did you know? It's VTuber week, guys. Gear up. It's very ironic that Twitch is trying to pretend like they actually care about VTubers.
And the worst thing about that, it's not even an entire week. It's 4 days. They said, oh, it's VTuber week. Until this date, and that date is then 4 days. 4 days until that. Great. And on top of that, in the past, they always banned VTubers for no reasons whatsoever. No reasons. Other people could do the same things, not getting banned. Like, you know, a VTuber shows hips, banned. A woman showing literally her, you know, her butthole. Well, that's fine.
And they got noted. Oh, what a beautiful note we saw right here. Twitch has sustained a culture of discrimination against VTubers, which disproportionately strict rules on attire, arbitrary bans without explanation, and recently throwing away gifts left for VTubers by fans at TwitchCon 2025. And just when you thought things couldn't get worse, we got the main story for today. Here is a too long didn't read version of events. Female VTubers caught doing bad things for clout. They double down and they use their mental illness as a shield. They get criticized for that. And then they say, uh-oh, I'm in the hospital, and then post a picture of themselves, even though they say they have no phone access. Yup, that's the real story today, involving this VTuber named Cha Cha Chilla.
And now we're doing something. Her name is Cha Cha Chilla. Let's look her up. Here we go.
In the magical kingdom of Flufferton.
She has 376 subscribers. Only a little more than double of me. Her videos seemingly do better than most of mine. But then again, you have cute girl and thumbnail. No, her thumbnails aren't really that great. And I can see why some people click it, yeah. So basically she's a who. Let's see, you know, let's see her Twitch. 1.4 thousand followers. 10 subs. Okay, yeah. But she is still a who, just like me. We are both who? Who? No one knows us, fundamentally. Now, I would be happy if I had, you know, her audience size-wise, because that's more than I have. So, of course, I would be, right? But yeah, she's a who. And she pretends to be something she isn't. Wait. Why are her videos also short? Why are her videos so short? Oh, okay, these are songs. She's doing music. Okay, these are all songs. Okay, I can understand. She's making music, so that's why all her videos are so short. Okay, that's a decision that you can make. But is that really the best decision you can make? I don't think so. I didn't post anything when I had hit 100. Sorry about that. But yeah, this seems to be a who trying to get a clout for, I don't know. Oh, look at me, I'm such a poor little girl.
Who posted this now infamous image right here, where they're quote unquote in the hospital with no phone access. And as we'll see, this is a fake photo. This is not them in the hospital. I can say that with 99% certainty. This is not them. And they're literally posting fake photos of themselves, supposedly in the hospital.
I mean, you can just reverse search this. You copy the photo onto your computer, and then you search for the photo in Google. It's that easy. I did that before.
To garner sympathy and clout on the internet. So, how did this all start? Well, it starts with this now deleted post. Now, it's not a full post here. Luckily, on the mobile version of Twitter, you can actually very quickly take a screenshot of a deleted post. You have a half-second window to take it. So this is what I got, and this is what started everything. So she says this: I tried to talk to Flork, and we'll talk about him in just a second, about one of his talents having a habit of calling people inferior, and how can seem to disabled people. However, he blocked me and said not to bring up my personal issues with his talents. I believe calling someone inferior is demeaning, as it's historically used context. And
oh, she's one of those retards. Yeah, who could have guessed? Except for, everyone.
You can see they got noted, right? This was in Minecraft. I know there's that joke in Minecraft. I want to do X, Y, and Z in Minecraft for legal reasons, right? No, this literally happened in Minecraft. So people are being called inferior in Minecraft. Okay, understand this. So who's Flork?
She's like the Hitler glorifiers, yes.
Well, Flork is someone who's very respected in the VTubing scene. He's also the creator of the agency Socks, okay? It's a VTuber agency. And he would respond to what was just stated, saying this: yes, I did snap at you in DMs because you were told not to contact me anymore prior to this. The Lucius team investigated the first piece of evidence you showed them regarding ad-free, and it was not even them speaking, video included. Their team there gave you the statement on what was happening. It was a roleplay in a Minecraft faction roleplay. And I will wholeheartedly back my talent that they did nothing wrong, especially in a 4-second out of context clip you originally showed. Because
that's what they always do. And the worst thing is, we don't really know if the person really believes what they think, if they are. It's what Asmongold says. Those people can't make the distinction between reality and fiction. That's how stupid they are. And there's a lot of people like that. A lot of people like that. There's so many of that. I remember in the 90s there was a soap opera, a German one, and one of the actors got attacked by an elderly woman because the person he played mistreated a woman. That's why he got attacked. The actor. People are stupid.
Was the original post. When you go back to this right here, it was a 4-second clip of one of the talents from this agency calling someone inferior. And in fact, the VTuber they're calling out wasn't even the one who said it. Okay, so this is happening in a Minecraft role-playing scenario. And this person is trying to cancel a random VTuber, actually, and their entire agency over someone being called inferior in Minecraft.
Treating guys.
They're wild.
Guys, they're like,
gotta give them a
yeah,
pass.
what's
Their
happening with that?
brains are a little smaller.
Dude, that's gonna oh my god, hard.
Was never a wilder. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true. I never.
So Cha
I couldn't even hear it. I could not even hear it. I couldn't understand what they were saying. And I'm sitting here with headphones. And I can't fucking understand them. They might not even have said it.
comes back with the big receipts that prove literally nothing they're trying to say here, but Cha-Cha says, actually, that's not what you said. So Flork says, hi, Cha-Cha, I will admit I'm a little uncomfortable with your messages right now. I've been extremely busy because of corpo work and my other work, though earlier in the year, I had more time, so I was able to message a bit more freely. I have not had that free time lately. Me not constantly DMing you is not a personal thing. However, because of this, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable to keep up communication. What's the message here, guys? He's saying, I don't want to talk to you anymore. In a very polite way. And as Flork would point out, that's pretty clearly, don't message me anymore. And Cha-Cha says, that's not what you said. You said you're not sure. Be clear, communicate like an adult. Oh my gosh. This person's giving lessons about what is mature, by the way. Especially when you're communicating with someone who's told you they're autistic in the past. They are weaponizing. They're using their disabilities as a shield.
Like they always do, because they have no accountability. No accountability, and also no intelligence. They want everyone to cater to their... I hear stuff. I have to check that. A door is creaking. It shouldn't be the case. So I checked that.
For any feedback they're getting. But, of course, a lot of people weighed in, okay? Alien Mixture said,
of course,
now deleted post. Honestly, if stuff like this bothers you, then maybe you shouldn't join a RP team versus team server. This was all in good fun and clearly elementary playground school banter. You in this scenario were very immature. You called ad-free out in public, you messaged Flork when you clearly were told to stop, and you were making a big deal out of what was supposed to be a fun and wonderful experience. Step back and really ask yourself if this is worth it. Here's another post saying, if you can't handle being called anything worse than stinky, I fear the internet may not be for you. It was playful banter. They were treating you like they treat others. Normal and like everyone else. Is that not what you want? And here's a post of them saying, when the other teams called us stinky, that was fine. When they called us stupid, I didn't really like it. But I didn't say acting. It was being called inferior. That's wrong. Now Cha-Cha would start...
Well, to be fair, you are inferior. And now I get banned on Twitch for a day, and then I come back and have 1,000 viewers.
Running out some defense for themselves, saying I think it's weird that people act like they're better than you and literally call you inferior to your face and then act like you're the problem. Inferior in Minecraft.
Yes, which shows that she is inferior IRL because she's weak-minded. She's so weak that she gets offended by this shit. That's what makes her actually inferior.
Literally, we're talking about skills in Minecraft, in a role-playing event. Unbelievable. And then this, basically saying like, you know, maybe take a step back, and they say, Cha-Cha says, calling people inferior has such a negative historical context with Nazis, disabled people, and such that personally, I'd never use it. But if you want to and think that's okay, that's on you.
What?
They are comparing themselves. I can't even...
She compares herself to the, well, mentally retarded people that were killed by the Nazis. And yes, she's proving she lacks IQ. You're right. She is lacking IQ, which is very obvious for everything she says. She's a very dumb person. A very dumb person. Which most likely is why her following is so small. Now mine is even smaller because I mismanaged my YouTube algorithm, but I'm working on that. And also I'm working on being more entertaining, which hopefully works.
There's so many words I want to say right now, and none. Can you believe this person? This is... Sorry, I had to cut there for a second because I didn't want to get banned on YouTube, but Cha-Cha would make a response basically saying, I'm sorry for all of this happening in this SMP, and they're frustrated, and their frustration turned into anger, and then they say, I also want to say that someone being called inferior really hit them hard because they're disabled. Oh boy, we are starting the oppression Olympics right here, okay?
Yeah, actually disabled people like me, I am disabled. I have a completely fucked up back. I have a history of depression that lasts for 30 years. I can't hold a job, which is one reason why I'm here. But do you hear me complaining about, oh, they mistreat disabled people, or any stupid shit like that? No. No. Why would I? Well, I would if I would be retarded, but thankfully I'm not. Now this person No, not this. The other one, the Cha-Cha. She is disabled, okay. But does that count in your retardation? I don't think so. The problem is not that you're disabled and they're making fun of disabled people. The problem is that you are weak-minded. That's the problem. You are weak. And that's why you're getting so easily offended. Because I can tell you, there are plenty of disabled people that love about this disabled people jokes. It's not hard to make jokes about disabled people on the course of disabled people, and they are totally funny. Why would they be funny? Because they are based on truth. As long as you don't lie, and the things are, you know, kind of realistic, yeah, they're funny. How do I know? Because what are the funniest things? The ones that are based on truth and pain. That's why also women aren't funny. Why not? Because they lie all the time and they don't know pain. That's the moment a woman knows pain and doesn't lie. She's funny. Ever noticed that? Ever? I did. That's why this red-haired, wheelchair-bound chick with glasses is so funny. Because everything she says comes from two points: pain and the truth. If you really know pain, then you learn to cope with it, and humor is a way to cope. That's why you can make fun of disabled people all the time, and you know, if they know, they know. The only time disabled people don't find jokes about disabled people funny is when they have a problem with themselves. They don't really accept themselves for who and what they are. That's also why a lot of people on the left hate themselves. They don't accept who and what they are. And that's when you get a completely destroyed society.
And one of the people involved with this collaboration would come out and add some context where they say that Cha-Cha had died the night before, which meant that they were using her items since she had no need for them. And her character that she was role-playing as was a dementia-ridden old lady, so she was running around like that and had no idea what she was talking about. And then there's this clip where the person who's so upset.
So you're playing someone with dementia in a roleplay, and then you complain IRL on Twitter and X that in a roleplay the other people also role-playing, making fun of that dementia-ridden character. Yes, low IQ. 100% low IQ.
About the use of inferior as a joke in Minecraft. Also called this individual a bitch in this clip right here.
It's not.
Please, I'm alive.
Why?
Because I'm alive, bitch.
Whoa.
I'm joking. I was joking. Sorry. I was a joke.
I did.
Joking.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't hear.
Why?
Because I'm alive, bitch.
Whoa.
I'm joking. I was joking. Sorry. I was a joke. I was joking.
Oh my gosh.
The blue-haired here immediately went like, oh, that might have gone too far.
I'm sorry. I was joking. I was funny. It was funny.
Now you're not getting your abs back. It's mine now.
So now we get into the really spicy part. So timestamps are important here. So at 12:15 p.m., They post this eulogy saying, "I feel so empty. I've lost everything and I really have nobody to blame but myself. I will say I genuinely thought using inferior was bad, but when everyone disagrees with you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. I will say I saw Apollo's post and I never doxed anyone, nor did Revenge Poontang. That's going too far. Please provide evidence." Okay.
Uh-huh. Did anyone so far talk anything about doxing or revenge? I don't know what it was. Or the corn. The corn. So her saying that makes me think that she doxed or tried to dox someone and tried to harm someone by publishing revenge corn of someone. That's what this tells me.
There's a lot of rumors going around about this Cha-Cha person and some insane behavior they're doing. We're going to see a little bit of that in just a second, but if you're facing allegations of posting revenge, why would you ask someone to post evidence? Doesn't that seem a little bit backwards? But anyways, they continue on saying, "I'm taking a step back from the internet. I feel like I just need to delve deeper into therapy about my impulsiveness and my sadness that turns into anger. I made a very impulsive mistake last night, so this is the last time I'll have access to my phone for a while. I don't know when or if I'll be back. I'm sorry I caused so much drama and sorry to those I hurt." Well, if you didn't hurt anyone, why are you apologizing for hurting people? But anyways.
The thing here is, therapy, all good and all, but therapy only works if you, as the one getting the therapy, are willing to change. And that's why for a lot of people, therapy doesn't work, because they don't want to change. They think, basically, they are awesome, just make the pain go away. But the pain doesn't go away, because the pain they have is because they are shitty people. That's what a lot of these problems nowadays are. It's not that, oh, these people have depressions. No, they have a shitty life because they are shitty people, and that's why they have depressions.
That was at 12:15 p.m. And then at 12:36 p.m., so about 20 minutes later, they say, "I'll be heading off to the hospital soon and won't have access to my phone." And they got noted. Okay, you see where this is going, right? Then at 12:50 p.m.
Wait, I want to... The picture OP provide in the sub-tweet is not them. It is highly likely they are lying for pity. They are a known liar to gain social equity. Number one, you have no proof that it's not her. Did you, I don't know, do anything to find out that it's not her? But that's not the important thing. The important thing is this here. They are a known liar to gain social equity. Now I can believe that 100% from everything I have heard about this woman. Everything. On everything she has written. I can 100% believe that. 100%. Because nothing she wrote or said makes me believe that she wouldn't lie to be seen as a good person in the eyes of her peers. And of course she's a woman. I mean, let's be fair. Women lie all the time to be seen as good people. All the time.
Then at 12:50 p.m., roughly 20 minutes later, they say, "Since people don't believe me," with a picture of themselves supposedly in the hospital. Now, of course, this same person said 20 minutes ago,
Oh,
They
right.
wouldn't have access to their phone, but then
Right. I didn't even think that far because I'm retarded. But right. She said she doesn't have access to her phone and then posts a picture of herself with her phone. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's yeah, she's lying.
they posted a photo of themselves
She's lying.
in the hospital. A very speedy set of events here. And if you notice, right here, you see this? Behind the emoji, you can see some hair.
Yeah.
And it's pink.
Yeah.
Very clearly pink hair. Now, looking at this person's account, here's a photo of them from October, so literally a month ago to the date. And they had short brown hair.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly these are not the same two people unless she got like
Yeah. He got her, unless it's a wig. He got her, yeah.
I don't know, like a wig or extensions or something, but that's highly unlikely. And someone pointed this out, basically saying the picture is not her. She doesn't have pink dyed hair. Her hair is natural brown / dark blonde mix. Seeing what she looked like in Zentreya, very popular YouTuber or VTuber, off Kai stream, where she heavily self-promoted herself to the point that both Zen and our favorite monarch got uncomfortable. This is a
I think I have to watch that stream.
fake picture. And I do believe with very heavy certainty that this is in fact a fake photo. And someone pointed out the timeline of events. I've been trying to really press this. So originally, I'll be heading to the hospital soon. 14 minutes later, gets hooked up to a heart rate and blood pressure monitor and posts a picture that might not even be hers. 8 minutes later, I've been at the hospital. I didn't want to specify, but I'm heading to the psych ward, which is another deleted tweet in the series of events.
A deleted tweet. Okay. Man. Why are you deleting your tweets if you're saying the truth?
Basically, none of this is believable. And here's another reply saying, "You're an embarrassment to the disabled VTuber community. Your disability is not an excuse to lie and manipulate people on the internet. You are giving us a bad rep. Please seek some actual mental help respectfully." And here's another person, Apollo, who was involved. We saw this name mentioned earlier, who would weigh in with some interesting things. Okay, so apparently this person also goes by the name, or used to go by the name of Bunny Alisu. And Apollo says this: "I was nice, respectful, and tried to be a friend. At the time, I wanted to get you help. You harassed me and my friends and so many others for years. You have doxed real-life faces and names, bullied, spread lies, and got blacklisted from Mythos, a VTuber agency, for a good reason. I gave them a 10-plus page document. When we didn't give you what you wanted, you did revenge adult content. Every single time I had someone or something awesome happen to me, you got butthurt with my success early on. You shared it everywhere, and people saw that side of me. You took my power, and just 2 days before TwitchCon, where I wanted to see people for the first time, my first event, I had to listen to so many people saying they were on my side and that they saw it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want that. But you didn't stop there. You kept harassing me for months on end because I wasn't flinching in public, and you had to make videos, accounts, and spreading it all over Mythos. I didn't feel safe anymore. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't even stream properly because of you. I lost a lot of things, and it harmed me."
Now, we have zero evidence so far that this actually happened. We have seen no messages, no screenshots, nothing. So this could all be a lie, but everything we have seen so far from this Chacha TTV person tells me that, yeah, she would do that. She is the kind of person that would do that. Yeah, I can 100% believe that. Without a doubt. I can, yeah. Why wouldn't I? So far, I've seen you not doing anything that's not negative towards other people.
So, pretty serious stuff being weighed in here, but another post saying, oh, so this is where you've been hiding. This is the girl who crashed a dinner party a friend and I hosted back in TwitchCon Vegas. Never paid her part of the bill. Irresponsibly drank with strangers during the event, to which a good handful of the group brought her back to her hotel, only then to say, we abandoned you because one of the men felt uncomfortable spending the night with you after you mixed your meds with alcohol. Also,
oh yeah, I can 100% see that that guy didn't want to stay with her, because we all know what story she would have told, right? That he forced himself onto her and stuff like that. She's 100% the person that would do that, 100%. Because, you know, she is mentally ill. And mentally ill people do that stuff.
also followed my friend group for the whole day around the event out of nowhere. Got one of their real life phone numbers somehow to harass them in sakes of clearing your name. Spread multiple rumors about the majority of my friends as well as myself. Have sent lewd photos of yourself to me with zero consent, to which you have since deleted. Have tried self-inviting yourself to gaming lobbies I hosted with friends. Have harassed and stalked multiple people I care about. You have doxed my friends and sent me private messages from some of my friends out of the context in trying to clear your name. I've had so many bridges burned because of you. I will not tolerate you trying to blame your behavior on incredible people that have done nothing but to help you.
Man, doesn't this Chacha woman sound like an awesome person? Isn't she great? Don't you want to hang out with her, chat? Isn't she such a nice person? Yeah, my ass.
So yeah, I'm in pain. Just reading through all this stuff. Exhausting. This person is using their disability as a shield for any sort of criticism they are receiving, and there's a lot of very disturbing things being raised by people who clearly don't want to even bring these things public. Okay? They are in a corner, and they are now defending themselves because this person allegedly has done some crazy stuff behind the scenes.
Allegedly.
And somehow, they are the victim.
Of course.
Yeah.
The crazy people
That's
are
it.
always the
That's
victim.
all I got for today. Exhausting. That's all I can say. Exhausting. This whole situation is exhausting. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Hey, what's up, guys? Over here.
Good video. Good video. The man did a good video. Man, crazy people. When was this video released? 6 days ago. 6 days ago. So I would guess the situation is still going on. Man, what a retarded person. There's 2 new ones? Oh no. From Rev? Are there... From different creator. Oh, okay. Almost 40 minutes. Let's see how bad this gets. Oh, come on, YouTube. YouTube is always so slow.
Accountability is something that we all must inevitably face at one point during our lives. Whether we hurt the feelings of a loved one,
Yes,
or
going
just
down
straight up
rabbit hole.
clog the toilet to unimaginable degrees, we simply just have to take a step back sometimes and say, sorry, my bad, I screwed up. And as simple as that might sound to a normal person watching this right now, unfortunately, as you might have already concluded from being on the internet, accountability is starting to become a rarity these days.
Yeah.
But if we had some sort of a global competition on seeing who can avoid saying sorry the most consistently, then it would be content creators, especially
Yeah.
ones who have a lot of followers and have built such an ego that they have become delusional. And unfortunately, we see many such cases, more specifically in the VTubing community.
Oh yeah.
Because today, we're talking about the VTuber by the name of Chilla, someone who tried to cancel another VTuber and her entire agency. And when she got called out, right, when she was proven wrong with receipts and proof, instead of saying sorry and taking a step back, she instead claimed that she was going to the hospital and she got community noted. And as ridiculous as this sounds, I wish that's where it ended, because people would uncover that this was her third rebrand from 2 past controversial lives. And after
Wait,
putting the
what?
pieces together with
Her third rebrand? Wow. So she literally fucked up twice before. And now she's fucking up a third time because she's so retarded. Man.
start to tell us about the other controversy she was involved in before even becoming Chilla. I mean, this whole
This video is even better. Oh my god.
thing was such a disaster that it ended up trending on Twitter. Guys, as this was happening, I could not believe my eyes. Not only was this crash out incredibly bad, but it involved a person that literally had zero self-awareness. I can't see this happening otherwise. The humiliation and embarrassment would be too much to handle for a normal person. So look, by now you know me. Once I see a catastrophe like this unfold before my eyes, I think to myself, man, I have to talk to you guys about this. So without further ado, let's do this.
This is awesome. We already have established from the first video that this woman is retarded. This woman is completely retarded. She's so dumb. I'm surprised that she's still alive.
Alright, so this whole incident actually took place in Minecraft. You see, there were two VTubers that created a server. The first one was called Lucia, and the second one was called Arissa. The survival multiplayer server they would create, otherwise known as SMP, would be called Invasion Parasite. But it would have a twist. Other than just being an SMP, it was also an RP server, where people roleplayed different characters and made up different stories and scenarios, all meant to be in good fun. VTubers of very varying sizes and very varying audiences decided to join that server to have a good time together and get to meet new people. So
That sounds great, right? This sounds awesome. A great opportunity for an upcoming content creator. This is awesome. Would have loved to be there. But I don't play Minecraft anymore.
some of these VTubers happen to be from the Socks agency, otherwise known as SVA, one of the few VTuber agencies that is actually still standing and works pretty damn well with its talents. The server took around 3 months to set up and would actually involve the work of multiple people. It would have multiple factions competing against one another while being invaded by mobs, and the event in its entirety would last 3 days. After the last day of the server, Lucia would tweet, "Invasion Parasite was a huge undertaking that I didn't fully grasp the intensity of." She'd say that it all started as a silly little idea between her and Arissa, all while thanking the people who helped her set it up, as well as talk about some of the issues that popped up that they were able to get through anyway. She mentioned how some people produced music, art, and stories in the server that she was blown away by and that she was very grateful. Overall, a pretty healthy conclusion, right? Well, this was tweeted on November 17th, 2025. On the same day, an hour earlier before Lucia made her tweet, Chilla would herself make a tweet saying, "I think it's weird that people will act like they're better than you and literally call you inferior to your face and then act like you're the problem." Now, of course,
Oh, yeah. And here we go. The problem start. Maybe you should try it out and be an old man VTuber. If anything, then I'm gonna be an ugly bastard. Ah, the girls will love it.
initially her community was concerned. Like, what do you mean? Who called you inferior? Who could do that? Half an hour later, she would make yet another tweet, this time longer and specifying exactly what she meant, saying, "I wanted to take a moment to apologize for how I reacted on the last day of the SMP. I got genuinely frustrated and let that frustration turn into anger, and that wasn't fair to anyone. I'm sorry for the way I spoke." That said, I want to be honest about where that frustration came from, because I think it matters. From the start of the SMP, we agreed to hold off on griefing until day 3 so everyone could settle in, build, and actually enjoy the opening experience. When griefing started on days 1 and 2, it didn't just break the rules, it broke the spirit of what we were trying to create together. On top of that, hearing things like my team being inferior or that we deserved to die got under my skin more than I expected. I didn't handle that well, and I should have stepped back instead of blowing up. I'm not here to hold grudges though, I want to move forward and be better and not let my anger get the best of me no matter the circumstance. Alright, well, you read this and you think, okay, well maybe there was some miscommunication in the server, but overall, it's fine. She took a step back, she was like, I'm fine with it, not holding grudges, let's move on. Except that's not where things ended, right? She would then reply to this tweet and say, and I also want to be honest about something personal. Being called inferior hit me harder than I let on because I'm disabled. I deal with those kinds of assumptions in real life more often than people realize, and hearing it in a space that's supposed to be fun and welcoming.
And behaving like that online makes everyone know that you are inferior to them, because you are fucking retarded.
A lot deeper. I don't expect everyone to tiptoe around me, but I do expect basic respect. For me, and for anyone else who might be carrying something you can't see, comments like that don't just stay in the game, they stick with you. And that's part of why I reacted the way I did. Alright, maybe that was a bit of a stretch. I mean, this is a roleplay server, right? This is just the word inferior here. But it's okay, we can just call that miscommunication, guys. It happens, it's not a big deal. If Cha-Cha Chilla had just shut up and not done anything else, things would have been completely okay. Except she didn't, right? Of course she didn't. And the next day, she would start off an incident so massive that it would start trending on Twitter.
Oh god.
On November 18th, 2025, Cha-Cha Chilla would make this tweet saying, I tried to talk to Flork about one of his talents having a habit of calling people inferior and how that can seem to disabled people. However, he blocked me and said not to bring up my personal issues with his talents. I believe calling somebody inferior is demeaning, as it's historically used context. AdFreeVT called us that. If you support Sock's VTuber agency, aka SVA, this is what you're supporting. She would then link a clip of 3 seconds. Watch.
I literally almost died in the first 2 minutes.
Alright, so there's a lot happening in this clip, but near the end, right, what she's trying to highlight is AdFreeVT saying, you're inferior, we're just better. Just as a reminder, right, we're in Minecraft, they're role-playing, and it does involve player versus player fighting. Alright, that's just all I'll say before we continue.
I couldn't even hear it.
Alright? Now, she would refer to someone called Flork, and that would actually be the CEO of Sock's agency, of SVA. So she was out here trying to cancel one of his talents for calling her inferior while calling him out directly, saying that he wasn't doing anything about this. Now look, I don't know what she was expecting, maybe seeing some people rally behind her, maybe she felt that she was truly fighting for a greater cause here, but almost immediately after posting this, the entire VTubing community just went up against her because god, this was such a ridiculous thing to cry about. Malfina, who is part of SVA, would say, a habit? A 3-second clip is a habit where the person isn't seen?
Yeah, 3 seconds. You did not hear a thing either? Yeah, because there's about 3, 4, 5 people talking over each other.
The word was spoken in a roleplay based around factions fighting a war against one another. Wilders were also making comments against other teams. That's how it works. What's unprofessional is approaching Flork as you did, purely trying to get ad-free into some sort of trouble, then being unable to provide evidence. What's unprofessional is stretching his "this is your fight" to him, allegedly approving the word inferior as an attack against disabled people. What's unprofessional is shouting about high raids and subs around those who are role-playing respectfully in open areas. What's unprofessional is starting to instigate other players even after a mod told you to stop, then playing victim as was seen on your stream. She would then specify that this had nothing to do with
What?
in open areas. What's unprofessional is starting to instigate other players even after a mod told you to stop, then playing victim as was seen on your stream. She would then specify that this had nothing to do with disabilities and would end this by saying, this all started because Addy unfriended you. Everyone has the choice to do so. This is a sad reaction. So this of course adds a lot of context that was missing in that initial callout post. As I mentioned earlier, this server had multiple factions, 3 to be exact. They were all competing against one another for the end goal of the entire story involving the server.
The story is even dumber than I thought from the first video. It's even dumber.
So I'm sure many of you watching might have played sports or played just online games in general and understand that shit talking your opponent is a very normal thing to do, especially
Yes.
saying something like inferior. This wasn't a slur or anything, right? It was actually extremely harmless. Pretty much
Yes.
everyone from SVA stood up for ad-free, saying, hey, this is a roleplay server, dumbass. And you even had disabled people. The group of people that she claimed to be speaking for come out against her, saying, yo, you're a dumbass. Inferior is not a slur, come on. And then you'd see another member from SVA by the name of Yami add more context about their past experiences with Cha-Cha Chilla, quote tweeting her call-out post and saying, oh hey, it's the person who kept following me around all of Offkai after I told them to stop and I had to warn security over her. Offkai.
Huh. Who could have guessed that the retarded person is creepy? Man, how is it that the worst people, the people that do the worst shit, are the ones who try to make themselves out as a victim all the time? I wonder why that is. Oh, I wonder.
Of course, is a yearly VTuber convention. She continues, the person who was overstepping my boundaries and touching my arm in comfort over and over when I told them not to touch me and spoke at me like I was less than them, saying I was so brave for going to Offkai as a trans person rather than talking to me like a normal person. You don't get to play the victim when you've hurt and disrespected so many people, and many know about your past life and the terrible things you've done there too. All I can do is wish you find the help you need. Step away from the internet, find professional help, and breathe. Maybe the world will be brighter for you one day where you don't find a need to validate your existence by trying to bring down others.
This is why shampoo has instructions. Yes, those people are. Yes. 100%, yeah. And also why microwaves have a warning label that do not put your cat into them. Because someone did.
So yeah, this wasn't just any random call-out post. This person apparently had a history of being very weird and even had a past life. She used to be another VTuber, but we'll get into that later. For now though, the CEO
God, yes.
himself of SVA would quote tweet her call-out post and tell us about his side of the story, saying, yes, I did snap at you in DMs because you were told not to contact me anymore prior to this. Lucia's team investigated the first piece of evidence you showed them regarding ad-free and it was not even them speaking, video included. Their team there gave you the statement on what was happening. It was roleplay in a Minecraft faction roleplay, and I will wholeheartedly back my talent that they did no wrong, especially in a 4-second out of context clip you originally showed. He'd link a 14-second video, and this was actually what Cha-Cha had sent Lucia's team, right, the person behind the server, to prove that ad-free was somehow an ableist, someone who discriminates against disabled people. Watch for yourself.
Treating guys.
They're wild.
Guys, they're
You
like-
gotta give 'em a
yeah,
pass.
what's happening
Their
with that?
brains are a little smaller.
Dude, that's gonna oh my god, hard.
I was never a wilder. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true. I never.
Right, so in this clip, you can see a bunch of VTubers saying that the opposite faction, the Wilders, have smaller brains. I guess Cha-Cha was trying.
Okay, so that was what's going on. Okay. Yeah, I can see why Cha-Cha would think that's about her. Because she is stupid.
To say that this was ableist, like they were making fun of disabled people. Like, what? Disabled people have smaller brains or something? Yet another stretch.
Well,
Even
Cha-Cha
better,
does.
Fork would be claiming in his post that the clip that Cha-Cha had sent the mod team didn't even have ad-free speaking in it to begin with. I mean, by this point, the circus was in full swing. This post almost has 1 million views, by the way. This was so ridiculous. It blew so much out of proportion. He would then
It's
reply
so
to his
dumb.
post and say, you also stated here other people do it, so why focus on me/SVA? Was it before I told you to not message me any longer as of early October? And he'd link 2 images. Here we can see Cha-Cha saying, really? Because as I see it, nothing has been taken care of. You guys have known about the inferior things. Lots of people have been calling us it. In the other image, we can see Flork saying, hi Cha-Cha, I will admit I'm a little uncomfortable with your messages right now. I have been extremely busy because of corpo work and my other work. Though earlier in the year I had more time so I was able to message a bit more freely, I have not had that free time lately. Me not consistently DMing you is not a personal thing, however because of this I'm not sure if I'm comfortable to keep up communication. Best of luck, Cha-Cha. This happened on the 6th of October 2025, and after this he would block her. It seemed like that really bothered her and she's held a grudge against him ever since. He would then continue the thread, saying, listen, we knew you were going to fucking do this because you did this shit before to other people. I knew you were going to drop this late. Maybe you thought I'd be asleep so you could get an edge on me? I specifically stayed up because we knew you were going to do this. I don't know why the focus was on me so hard, especially if your problem was ad-free. I don't want anything to do with you. He would then add more context as to why he knew that she stayed up late, showing DMs from this July 2025. Here we can see Cha Cha Chilla saying, "I'm a night owl," and Flork remembered that detail. The last thing he'd say in this thread is, "Honestly, do you not think I stick up for anyone in my agency? Come on. Before he even went into my DMs to try to get me to punish her like a school kid, I knew what was going on." So look, overall, a very strongly worded statement by Flork.
Of course he knew what was going on. His talents talk to him. Which they should, because he's their boss. You know?
I mean, after this, if you had any sort of self-awareness, any sort of shame or dignity, you would probably apologize, take a step back, maybe deactivate your account, I don't know. But just to show you how much self-awareness Cha Cha Chilla truly lacks, she actually would reply to this post saying, "Actually, that's not what you said," linking DMs. Here we can see the screenshot from the 6th of October in which Flork says, "Hey, I'm not comfortable really keeping up communication." And we can see the blocked message from Cha Cha Chilla in which she says, "I'm sorry, it's just that this has happened with multiple people and I guess it's really gotten into my head. I won't bring this up again." Flork then says, "Best of luck, Cha Cha." And then she says, "Thank you. Sorry again for letting this get into my head so much. Thank you for understanding." 24 days later, she would say, "Hey, thank you again for understanding. Wanted to give you some time, but the standees did arrive a bit ago and wanted to thank you for them. I love them so much. You do not have to reply to this, just wanted to express my thanks." So look, I don't know what the whole point of this was. Flork would just
reminds me of Mischief.
Just reply with, "That's pretty clearly don't message me anymore," right? And that was the whole point. That's why he linked these DMs in the first place. It doesn't matter what she replied with. The whole point was that on the 6th of October 2025, Flork said, "I'm not comfortable keeping up communication. Bye," right? Like, thank you. This was the nicest way he could say it. Cha Cha Chilla would then reply again saying, "That's not what you said? You said you're not sure if you want to keep communication. Be clear, communicate like an adult, especially when you're communicating with somebody who's told you they're autistic in the past." At this point, she's like, "Apologize or draw 25 disability cards and use one of them." Like, what the hell is going on? The top reply on her reply would out-ratio her by 20 times.
Oh, medical or self-diagnosed. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And would say, "Medically or self-diagnosed?" Not to mention that there are so many autistic people in her replies expressing how angry they are that someone is using their condition as an excuse to not take accountability. Like, look, I've seen my fair share of absolute train wrecks of VTubers, but no one has ever taken it this far of replying to something so clear-cut and still trying to paint themselves as a victim. And you know what the worst part is, or I guess the best part, since you're probably entertained? We're not even halfway through. It gets so much worse. The next tweet during this entire shitstorm would be from Nikita, someone who actually helped Lucia and Orisa make the server and was a staff member. He'd say, "I am the staff member who personally handled Cha Cha's ticket regarding this matter. I feel it is important to clarify the timeline and the facts of our investigation for the public record. Initial contact. This issue began when Cha Cha posted a call out in the public Wilders faction Discord channel tagging ad-free. I removed that post to de-escalate public tension and immediately reached out to Cha Cha privately to explain that public callouts can create a hostile environment. Protocol. I directed her to open an official ticket so the admin team could review the issue properly and fairly. We went back to the ticket she opened before and continued the conversation there. The investigation. Upon reviewing the original evidence provided in the ticket prior to her public post, we found no evidence of malicious behavior or targeted harassment toward Cha Cha. Misidentification. Crucially, the individual speaking in the evidence provided for review is not ad-free. So let's just examine this for a second, right? A staff member is telling us right now that the person who was saying inferior to begin with wasn't even ad-free.
Yeah.
This whole incident happened on the basis of
retarded.
wrong delusional information. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, the next section would be called Event Context. This was a 3-day Minecraft faction PvP event featuring 3 distinct factions. Wilders, military, and scientists. Intense, in-character banter and trash talk between factions are common expectations of the roleplay genre rather than malicious attacks.
Yeah, and let me guess, the scientists called the Wilders inferior. Well, of course they would. Of course they would. Why wouldn't they?
All 3 factions engaged in this behavior as part of the competitive atmosphere throughout the 3 days. And if someone ever took it too far and turned it into hate speech or targeting specific individuals, staff would reprimand said individual and remove them from the server. Roleplay context. So here he'll be talking about the clip specifically. The specific comments in the clip regarding small brains were made by the player in the video, who, like Adfree, was playing a Wilder Gone scientist. The player involved confirmed this intent, stating, "I quite literally was making fun of myself because I started as a Wilder, so I was the small brain in the room." Admission of widespread usage. In private DMs prior to the ticket investigation, Cha-Cha stated, "Lots of people have been calling us inferior." This admission confirms she was aware the term was being used broadly by the opposing faction against the Wilders group as a whole.
Evidence. We have evidence that, you know, she's making stuff up. Who could have guessed?
Cha-Cha alleged that Adfree used the word inferior. We found no evidence of Adfree using this term towards her. However, regarding the term itself, inferior is a standard adjective meaning lower in rank, status, or quality. In the context of a competitive PvP faction war, this is standard terminology used to denote an opposing team's skill or ranking. In the ticket, Cha-Cha explicitly rejected the validity of roleplay context entirely, asking, "Are you saying calling people inferior is okay if it's roleplay?" After I asked, "May I ask, was it in reference of faction RP?" Resolution. I informed Cha-Cha that while we take reports seriously, we could not find a violation of server rules based on the evidence provided. Transparency. I explicitly stated that we would not stop her from going public if she felt she needed to, as we believe in open communication. Current conduct. While we respect—
So, the stupid person got angry about a word that she doesn't know how to use. And now she's angry. Okay, makes sense.
The right to voice concerns, we definitively do not support the targeted behavior currently being exhibited. Inconclusive and manipulated footage. The public accusation relies on a highly zoomed in, chaotic 3-second snippet. In this clip, multiple conversations overlap and the visual is obscured. Adfree's character is not visible in the scene because we cannot see who is speaking and the audio is chaotic. It is factually impossible to verify if Adfree is the speaker, attributing a specific—
Exactly. Like I said, that someone in the chat said, we can understand anything. I maybe can make out a couple of words, but even that is hard. I couldn't understand what was being said, especially not any sentences. Absolutely not.
Specific voice to her in this chaos is a massive stretch and does not constitute valid evidence. Audio context. Even if one strains to isolate the faint background voice in this chaotic clip, the phrase audible is "they are inferior, we are just better." This phrasing explicitly links the term inferior to a competitive comparison of skill and faction strength, in parentheses, better. Uttering this sentiment privately among teammates is standard morale building, not a targeted slur. However, again, we cannot verify it was Adfree who said this. Retroactive evidence hunting. In her messages to Flork, Cha-Cha admitted, "I'm going to hunt down the clips." This statement, made after the accusation was leveled, suggests the conclusion, in parentheses, that Adfree was guilty, was formed before any evidence was actually found. This explains why the eventual proof was a misidentified clip of a different person.
Who could have guessed that she would do something like that? Who could have guessed that the person that uses disability as a shield against criticism would go out of her way to find proof for the accusations she has against someone else that so far haven't been proven to be correct? Who could have guessed?
Unprofessional escalation. Cha-Cha claims she contacted the SVA agency owner Flork and he did nothing. This is a misrepresentation. The screenshot of that conversation shows Flork enforcing a standard professional boundary, refusing to allow personal conflict, where one party has blocked the other, to be escalated into management harassment. Flork directed her to respect the block, that matter is settled, rather than validating her attempt to bypass it. And finally, conclusion. We stand definitively by our investigation. It is unacceptable that a situation defined by manipulated evidence and misidentification has escalated to the point where independent event staff must intervene to correct the public record. We expect all participants to adhere to professional standards, and we will not validate the use of misinformation to target community members or external agency leadership. Nikita would then link a screenshot in which he was talking to Cha-Cha saying, "Hi Cha-Cha, we are taking your..."
Oh boy. This video is escalating so hard. It's even better than the video from Ref Says Dezo. Jesus. This one goes in deep, really deep. And I like it. Just like women do.
Report very seriously and are reviewing the matter. He would then state everything that was already stated in his Twitter post. Like, for example, the fact that this was completely fine in a roleplay setting. There was nothing weird that was said here. 7 hours later, Cha-Cha Chilla would reply to him, saying, I've decided I'm going public with this. And in order to avoid the VTuber who streamed it getting involved, I've zoomed in to not show them. So look, overall, this was a very well-crafted post. I mean, he really talked about everything here, giving us context in every way imaginable.
Yes.
And indirectly managed to make Cha-Cha Chilla look like an even bigger clown than she already was. Not only was she linking a very hyper-focused 3-second clip.
Don't put clowns into the same category as Cha-Cha. They're way smarter.
But there was no way to verify that it was even ad-free who said it. Most likely that wasn't even the case. This was a clear vendetta that she had because she had her feelings hurt that the CEO of SVA had blocked her and that ad-free had unfriended her. It was just pathetic.
Most likely, yes. That actually makes more sense than anything that Cha-Cha says.
So of course, we can't have proper VTuber drama without the good old community notes, and her initial post did get that treatment. It would say, this was a roleplay server where people were acting. The people have no idea what this person's disabilities were, and their words were not a direct attack to this individual. It was directed at the group in the roleplay, only in the roleplay. The community would then link 3 different Wikipedia links, with the first one being roleplay, the second one being acting, and the third one being common sense.
Jesus! Man, that woman gets the dick slapped in the face left and right here. Jesus Christ, this is great. And I can guarantee you she would like it. No, having dicks left and right and slapping against her face.
Whoever wrote this was an absolute savage, dude. Holy shit. Now, of course, when you're a complete delusional idiot, it's really not enough when you can't take accountability after making false accusations. No, the cherry on top is being a hypocrite. And that's exactly what would happen when the VTuber Zion would show us a clip of that roleplay server in which they took the axe of Cha-Cha and Cha-Cha called her a bitch. Watch.
Your abs back.
I'm alive.
Why?
'Cause I'm alive, bitch.
Whoa.
So Cha-Cha's out here saying, oh my god, name calling, you're calling me inferior, ableist, blah, blah, blah. Bro,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa. You're out here using the B word, woman. As a
By the way, thank God this was louder than in Rev's video, so I could actually understand a little bit.
everything was burning, and this was literally trending on Twitter. Ad-free would make this tweet saying, oh, hey, good morning, in which you'd see this gif that sums things up very perfectly. You know, walking into a burning apartment, dude. But you see, the thing with Cha-Cha Chilla is that she had so much more to offer to the world. That's right, even after everything that's happened so far, she didn't think it would be a good idea to get rid of her phone or something. No, instead she'd get
Please
the
more,
incredible
yes.
idea of making things
Oh, there are
100
chapters?
times worse. By not shutting up, and going as far as starting a fundraiser to sue people defaming her name.
Wait,
I
what?
wish I was joking. After Cha-Cha
What?
Chilla's tweet would get community noted, she would swiftly delete it. But that didn't stop the whole incident from trending on Twitter and making people aware of who Cha-Cha Chilla truly was. This is when people would start to uncover her past. Apollo Mythos would make this tweet saying, let me give you some more context. Cha-Cha Chilla, aka Bunny Alisu. I was nice, respectful, and tried to be a friend at the time. I wanted you to get help. You harassed me and my friends and so many others for years. You have doxed IRL faces / names, bullied, spread lies, and got blacklisted from Mythos for a good reason. Mythos being the agency that she's a part of. I gave them a 10+ page
Oh.
document. When we didn't give you what you wanted, you did revenge porn. Yes, that's the P word, adult videos. Every single time I had something awesome happen to me, you got butthurt with my success early on. You shared it everywhere and people saw that side of me. You took my power, and just 2 days before TwitchCon, where I wanted to see people for the first time, my first event, I had to listen to so many people saying they were on my side and that they saw it. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want that. But you didn't stop there. You kept harassing me for months on end.
But one question I would have is, where did she get that stuff from? Someone must have sent it to her. By the way, chat, never send news to anyone. Never.
And because I wasn't flinching in public, you had to make videos, accounts, and spreading it all over Mythos, I didn't feel safe anymore. I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even stream properly because of you. I lost a lot of things and it harmed me. So obviously that's a crazy accusation, right? It seemed like Cha-Cha-Chilla wasn't just someone who was desperate for clout, going after an agency and its CEO. This was someone who was genuinely dangerous, who had hurt people in the past and tried to rebrand to get away from that without, of course, taking any accountability. The replies on this post would be nothing but supportive to Apollo, with quite a few friends confirming, yes, you went through so much, we're here for you, and now you can finally let it out comfortably because we're here to back you up. Apollo's post would make Cha-Cha-Chilla finally make some sort of statement after deleting her initial callout. And this is what she had to say. She'd start off with, I feel so empty. I lost everything, and I really have nobody to blame but myself. I will say I genuinely thought using inferior was bad, but when everybody disagrees with you, it's time to take a step back and reevaluate. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. I will say I saw Apollo's post and I never doxed anybody nor did revenge porn. That's going too far. Please provide evidence. I'm taking a step back from the internet. I feel like I just need to delve deeper into therapy about my impulsiveness and my sadness that turns into anger. I made a very impulsive mistake last night, so this is the last time I'll have access to my phone for a while. I don't know when or if I'll be back. I'm sorry that I caused drama and sorry to those I hurt. Now, one thing I want to point out in this amazingly well-crafted statement is that she had never apologized to either Adfree or Flork, nor did she apologize.
Of course not, because she isn't sorry. She wrote that, she posted that, so people see her as a good person. That's what this is for, other people. So they see her as a good person. That's all it is, what it is. That's all, my friends. That's all what this is.
Apologize to the server owners or the staff that was very professional with her, by the way. She just says, hey, I have nobody to blame but myself. I made a mistake, but she never really took accountability to the people that she was trying to destroy. She was literally trying to cancel people. Someone would point this out in the replies, saying you never apologized to Adfree or Flork. You're trying to dodge responsibility for what you did to Apollo and to Yami. This isn't nearly enough and you're just doing this for damage control. She'd reply with, I will say that I did say Yami was brave for showing her face without a mask, but not for being trans. I can't take responsibility for things I didn't do. As for the lack of apology towards Adfree and Flork, they've told me they want nothing to do with me and I'm respecting that.
Really?
I swear, man, if lack of self-awareness was a person, I think it would personify itself. It would show up and manifest as Cha-Cha-Chilla. I need to point out the fact that this post almost has 700,000 views, but man, I mean, you can tell a lot from the engagement.
Wow. That's not even 1% like. Less than 1% of the people like this post. Jesus. This is really bad. Really bad. Personally, I think this woman should not be on the internet at all. She should be a cashier and nothing more. Or a waitress. Maybe she can handle that. But more, no. I don't even want to say she should be a stay-at-home mom because, oh my god, she would be a horrible mother and wife. So, man.
Right? Almost 100 comments, all completely pooping on her entire existence. And even though that was the case, she would still make an effort to reply to Apollo's post, linking her statement there, saying, posting this here too. Of course, literally just one like on this whole thing. I think she liked it herself or something. And as you might expect, there's not a single positive reply here. Now look, this had already blown way beyond proportion, right? And even though this was a very unlikable, vile person who just can't say sorry no matter what and has past lives in which they actually hurt other people, I think it's safe to say that things would have died down if, you know, Cha-Cha-Chilla actually stepped back and didn't touch her phone anymore. But did that actually happen, as you might expect? Hell no. Because not even 20 minutes later, she would tweet out, I'll be heading off to the hospital soon and won't have access to my phone. People, of course, didn't believe her. It's been 20 minutes since you posted that image, bro. Are you just farming for pity? She would then reply to her post saying, since people don't believe me, while linking an image of presumably her in a hospital room while censoring her face.
Oh yeah, this one has better quality. Yeah, I can actually see it's pink. Yeah, that's hair. Yeah.
People still didn't believe her, so she replied even further, saying also, I wasn't hospitalized in under 22 minutes, I had been there since November 17th. I was waiting to be transferred to a psych ward, however, the psych ward was full, so I was discharged instead. Linking an image that showed her hospital history, saying that on November 17th, 2025, she had gone to the emergency department. So what she didn't realize by doing this is that she exposed the fact that she had made her initial call-out post while being in the hospital, which meant that her tweet saying I'm headed to the hospital was a lie. She was already there. She was only fishing for attention.
Oh
Her
my
initial call-out post was
God.
made
Yeah,
on November 18th.
This woman is really stupid. Really, really stupid. Oh my God.
2025. She made this while waiting to go to the psych ward. So I'm sure it comes as no surprise that her hospital post got community noted. But before we get into that, we'd find out through another VTuber's quote tweet that Cha-Cha Chilla didn't just have one past life, she had two. They'd say, you don't know when to quit, do you? 3 years ago, before she was Cha-Cha Chilla, before she was Bunny Alisu, she was Nia Charisse. She tried to cancel me on my birthday subathon when I was being vulnerable to her privately, and she twisted my insecurities to try and scare me out of the VTubing space. She also tried to drive a wedge
Yeah, I can 100% see that, yeah.
between me and one of my best friends while screwing them out of hundreds of dollars. Seeing you do all this and worse to so many other people makes me fucking sick. 3 years later and you haven't changed a bit, fuck off and never come back. It seemed like Cha-Cha had a track record, and every time she would get caught, she would just rebrand into a new VTuber. As time
Yeah.
went on, more and more people caught on to the idea that this was another identity of the same person that screwed them over.
The first sentence. Oh, so this is where you have been hiding. Man. This is cinema. This is better than what we get out of Hollywood. This is awesome.
In the past. This content creator would claim that Cha-Cha Chilla was the same girl who crashed a dinner party that a friend of theirs hosted back in TwitchCon Vegas, never paid a part of her bill, and irresponsibly drank with strangers during the event. People were very uncomfortable with the fact that she was mixing her medication with alcohol. The list of course here would go on, with her being accused of spreading multiple false rumors about the content creator and their friends in question, and sending lewd photos of herself with zero consent to this content creator that she since then deleted, even claiming
Yeah. I mean, are we expecting anything else at this point than this woman being completely nuts? Off the rails, completely bala bala. Nope.
claiming that Cha-Cha Chilla was also a doxer, something that many others in the community have already claimed. This wasn't just a serial offender at this point, this was like an on-the-run fugitive in the VTuber community. What the hell is this? But the thing is, this wasn't just about her past controversies, people were doubting the picture that she linked. Even though her face is censored, you can see on the edge here that the hair is pink, and it's fairly long. The community note on her post about the hospital would actually talk about this, saying the picture OP provided in the subtweet is not them. It is highly likely they are lying for pity. They are a known liar to gain social equity, linking a tweet. That tweet would say, this picture is not her. She doesn't have pink dyed hair. Her hair is natural brown / dark blonde mix. Seeing what she looked like in Zentrea's off-guy stream where she heavily self-promoted herself to the point that both Zen and our favorite monarch got uncomfortable, this is a fake pic. So apparently that's also bonus info. She was heavily self-promoting in someone else's stream during the convention. Wonderful. They would then reply to their own post saying, for anyone doubting my words, this is her.
Oh. Why do I think seeing this picture that she's about 40 years old? Why? But to be fair, she might be actually 40 years old. 40 years old, unmarried, childless. Yeah, of course, a woman like that would be crazy, yeah.
A month ago, still short blonde brownish hair, taken from her own media tab. Now get off my bum just because I'm speaking facts. So yeah, as we can see, this is short hair and there's not a single shade of pink.
Yeah.
Now look, Cha-Cha apparently is a cosplayer. She might have used a wig at Offkai, and some people were also alleging that this image was actually taken from a thread from somewhere else, but it actually wasn't, as much as it's believable seeing who we're dealing with here. Someone actually just took Cha-Cha's picture and posted it in this thread, which was about VTubers. Additionally, this image was being posted saying that it's the original one without the emoji, but it's actually AI, and you can see this on the monitor.
Yeah, I didn't even look at the monitor, and I was like, yeah, this isn't real. The head looks photoshopped into it.
in the back. It even got community noted. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because we don't need fake proof to prove that this is a very weird story, because all we have to do is look at her Discord server when this was all going down. Someone would compile images of what was going on in her Discord after she had posted the hospital pic, and it shows us a clear understanding of how she was trying her best to prove that she was actually in the room with the help of her community. The first thing she'd do is post this, saying, also, yes, I have pink hair and the brown hair is a wig, confirming that yes, she was cosplaying at Off Guy, she currently has pink hair. Her own Discord was kind of doubting her, saying, maybe you have a friend who took this picture, to which Chacha would reply with, so I have a pink-haired friend I got to send me hospital pics and a selfie right now? That's kind of dumb. Regardless though, her Discord wasn't really on her side. They were pushing her to get a piece of paper and write the name and the date so that people understand that this is actually her. She would then go ahead and post it, replying to the initial post of her proving she has pink hair. The image would say Chacha, but the date would be very weird. It would say 1/1/9.
That doesn't even make sense. What year is it? The last one is the year, right? So it's 2009? This doesn't make any sense.
That's what it looked like. Her Discord would point this out. What is this, 119? To which Chacha would say, no, it's meant to say 11/19. I know my handwriting is bad, but damn. Someone would then say, what's with the date and different hair shade? To which she would say, the hair is the same, it's my same hair. A couple of people would believe this, but many others wouldn't. Some of the people in the Discord would ask her to take another picture that's clearer, that has a better date, and she would say, because you're doubting me when I'm showing proof and making me take more and more photos, it feels like you're trolling me. She'd then finally give in and say, fine, I'll take another photo with the same shirt that she had worn in the hospital. And then as someone was giving her advice as to how she could stand up to make the lighting look better and match the picture in the hospital, she would say, I don't like standing a lot. I stood for one photo quickly and started feeling dizzy. Someone would say, come on now. To which she would say, you do realize I have a heart condition that makes me faint when I stand for long periods? I can show you the tilt table test. To which one of the people trying to help her would say, okay, I give up, you are a liar. She would then post the image of that test.
This woman.
Right? Even though a lot of people were already turning on her by this point. And after many minutes of arguing about how she gets dizzy when she's standing up and how she can't do it, someone would just say, hey, can you just do it sitting down? Can you just shut up and do it sitting down? She'd say, okay, fine. And then she'd finally take another picture with her.
Oh, do you see what I see? Her fingers are even fatter than mine. She a little fatty, but she's chubby. So now where do I get in here? Jealousy. She's jealous of all those pretty girls, pretty other VTubers, and getting attention, and she doesn't. That's why she's doing it. Okay, now I'm getting it. Yeah. I can see this, yeah.
Her sitting down. As far as I'm aware though, she wouldn't post this one on Twitter. Someone would mention that she's missing the paper that says the date and her name, to which she would say, what the fuck, you didn't say that, like you didn't specify for me to take it with it. Her Discord would then start infighting.
Did she really, what? Woman, how retarded are you? Yeah, this guy down here, talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. Yes. Because she's stupid. Why is that person allowed to live alone and be on the internet and vote? This person is allowed to vote.
Fighting, right? Some people were on Chacha's side, some people weren't, and they would just start like going at each other's throats, and she would just stop participating in the conversation. So yeah, here's the image of her sitting down, because again, if she stands up, she'll just faint, guys. Here's the hospital one. Is it the same shade? Up to you to decide. But one thing is for certain,
kind of.
This image is really weird. I don't know
Yes,
why
it
you
is.
would write the date like this. Look, I can maybe
Makes
say
no
that this is a
sense.
19, right? This could be excused as a 1. But then you have 3 different lines. What do they signify? That doesn't look like an 11 to me. It looks like 119. Not a
Yes.
single reply here was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Everyone was like, dude, what did you even write? Like what? This is January 2009? Like what kind of date is this? It only made her look way worse. And then just as you thought that things couldn't get way crazier than this, she would make a tweet because of course she lacks self-awareness entirely. She'd say, if anybody wants to help with lawyer fees, and would link her stream elements in order to get donations. Yes,
Oh
that's
boy,
the tweet.
here
This
we
came out
go.
of nowhere. What lawyer fees? Who are you suing? What are you?
By the way, donations, you cannot tip to me. I got an account with coffee, and now you can tip to me. And you can even send a message with that tip. Isn't this nice? Little self-promotion.
Talking about? It would only be the next day in which she would finally specify what she's raising lawyer funds for, saying, for those that wanted me to specify, I plan on taking Apollo to court and suing her for slander and defamation. She has stated many false things about me with no evidence to back these claims up. Apollo would then quote tweet that and say, I hope you do, that would be so funny. Now, I don't know what could have possibly changed Cha-Cha Chilla's mind here, but shortly afterwards, she would delete that tweet. She would
Of
also
course.
delete the tweet in which she was asking for lawyer fees, right? And the funny thing
Of
here is
course.
that if she actually were to sue, which come on, everyone knew that would never happen.
What
the
else would
burden
you
of proof
expect?
would actually fall upon her. She would have to prove that she's innocent, right? And so far, she's been doing a terrible job at this. Man, it's insane what delusion and narcissism.
She's doing a terrible job of everything, I would say. I mean, everything we know about this woman, and if we just go from her part, if we ignore what anyone else said, just everything that she wrote, she posted, is so stupid and inconsistent that I can't believe her at all. I can't. It's absolutely impossible for me to believe her. I think she's really just mentally retarded. I do think that, yes, she's mentally retarded and should be allowed to live alone and be on the internet.
Can do. In any case, Flork would end this by saying, okay, folks, while I deeply appreciate the support, the matter is done and over with now. There's no need to continue with it. Let's not tell someone to KYS, let's lower the temperature. What's done is done and the matter is over. I wish it didn't get to that point, but it is what it is. I wouldn't wish anyone getting to a mental breaking point. Cha-Cha, I don't know what drove you to all this. Get the help you need and move on. You can't keep doing this in public, getting backlash when people defend themselves and then get to this point. He would then go ahead and say that he does forgive her, but hopes that she evaluates if this stuff is right for her. He hopes that she can get help. At Free, the one who was also blamed by Cha-Cha, would say, I have a lot of incredibly sweet DMs. Thank you for checking up on me. I promise normally I'm a silly little bug and I'll get back to that soon. More than anything, I think we should celebrate the incredible job Lucia and the team did. You guys navigated unknown terrain and made sure that everyone was having a blast, sometimes literally. Cheers to the next one. We live, we learn, we entertain. She would then express how lucky she is to have her agency, SVA, and that she couldn't imagine going through this as an independent VTuber. So yeah, this whole thing was just
Yeah, it
wild,
would be
a
hard.
complete roller coaster of emotions. And just like any big problem that blows out of proportion in many of my videos, or just on Twitter in general, it could have ended way earlier if the person involved had just apologized and taken a step back. Cha-Cha Chilla isn't some random VTuber. This is someone with past history who has hurt people deeply. The good news, though, is that their
And
new attempt
badly.
to reinvent themselves has completely failed, and she'll probably make another account in the coming year or something, I don't know. If there's one silver lining here, is that it did raise awareness on Sock's agency, on the fact that its own CEO will defend his talents like no one else. That's a really cool thing to have. At the same time, it also did raise more awareness on the efforts of Lucia and Orisa when it came to making that server. Hopefully next time, it'll be even bigger and better and won't have any problematic people involved. And finally, when it
great.
comes to Cha-Cha Chilla, the last tweet you can see on her feed was her saying that she has pink hair and that the brown hair is a wig. However, she did make another tweet along the lines of, I've seen many people say that I should get a real job, but I'm disabled, blah, 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 really pushing the whole disabled narrative even further. But she deleted that tweet, and I had no time to take a screenshot of it. However, we can still see her talking about this in the replies. Someone said, okay, you can't do a physical job, then get a desk job, to which she would say, are you going to pay for my college degree? She hasn't learned.
For a lot of desk jobs, you don't need a college degree.
A single thing. She hasn't apologized to a single person, and overall she's absolutely hopeless. It's incredible what some people will do instead of just saying sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this roller coaster train wreck nuclear bomb until the end. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to quickly mention that GamerSubs has a new drop right now, and it looks really cool. So if you're interested, make sure to use the code MUJIN for 10% off your total order. I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is, and please take care until then. Love you. Mwah.
This is so great. Chilla, you held the door open for me? How dare you assume I can't open it myself? We breathe the same air with this person? Yes. Yes, and it's sad. Man, this woman is so retarded. It's hilarious. Oh my god. So dumb. So dumb.